Hello, welcome to a bulb log video diary. I told you I wouldn't be long before I'd be back, and that's been a bit quicker than I did expect because we've had some remarkably warm weather. The other day we went from -3 overnight to the next day we went up to over 20 degrees, just over 21 or 22 here in the northeast of Scotland. So anyway, what it's done is it's brought the Erythroniums out quicker than we might normally see. So I'm going to go and grab them some today and share some with you, because forecast is for more rain and bad weather to come over for a while. So I think it's just good to go back and just reverse myself here and look at this lovely old rhododendron, Tatzianense, collected by Roy Lancaster. It's a lovely plant and it's really looking good this year, and it's attracting a lot of bees. I say a lovely plant, it's not the most striking of bushes because I remove all the lower branches so that we can plant right to the base of it and use all the space around it. But it's got a certain character, the wiry, dwindly structure, and as I say, it's just butching with bees. So coming down to the Erythroniums, just that heat today and yesterday. These have been out for a wee while, but this is the heat. It's really fried the flowers, pushed them over a bit quicker than we'd normally expect. So we have here hybrids. What you're going to see is the basic colours in Erythronium are white, and white's represented by Oregonum and Californicum principally, along with others. And then there's the pinks that you can see down here. They're generally Revolutum, and then of course they create hybrids, interbreed, and we get all sorts of combinations in between. So that's basically the species. This is a self-sown seedling, as is this around here, from that clump group over there, which is Minnehaha, a lovely hybrid, Oregonum hybrid, made by the late John Watson down in Kent in southern Englandshire. So it's a really good plant. John made some really fine hybrid crosses. And then we have the one that does best here is Erythronium revolutum. All of these, virtually all of these, have self-seeded out into the path. Yes, that's supposed to be a path. We started with 1 or 2 plants up in this bed and they've just escaped out, as they continue to do. And there they are, they're growing there with the Anemone pallida, the hybrid that I think I showed you in the last video. But it's, as you can see at the moment, it's wall-to-wall Erythroniums. And these are growing in the bed where you can see the leaves of the snowdrops, the galanthus, and other plants that were there earlier, the Aranthus. And yes, that's also that same. Those are into your wildflowers like I am. This is Ficaria. Is it Ficaria vernus they call it now? I mean, people say it's a weed, but it's a pretty plant. It's looking lovely there, mixed in with Anemone ranunculoides. And then we'll just go around this way, and as I trail back onto the path. Erythronium Creighton cover girl. Again, just the heat of today. This meant the flowers are not going to look so good for so long as they usually do. But they have been out for some considerable time. Up here in the shadier bit, you can see the darker pinks are nearly all Erythronium revolutum straight whereas those paler pinks are hybrids. They're just self-sown hybrids, so no names to them. The primroses I grew from seed. Collected seed a few years ago in a local wood. Collected a small packet of seed. Used to give myself a pot of seedlings because we didn't have any in the garden, or many. We only had a couple of, and I wanted to get, so we could have, if we got pin and thrum, which we have now, then we could be self-sufficient in seed and build up the numbers, because I really love this little primula. And then the cow slips over there, and the hybrids beyond that is a nice dark Erythronium revolutum with a matching with the dark purple Corydalis. Anemone nemorosa. And then we'll head up. Again, all this is all self-sown. The big clump with the pink one, that's created cover girl, it's not self-sown. I did plant that. But all these here are self-sown and are just spreading around. And I suppose you could say this is becoming the Erythronium walk, the Erythronium step. You tiptoe through the tulips here, you're tiptoeing through the Erythronium because they're just growing everywhere where there's not a slab. In here there's lots of Trillium, grandiflorum. They go right up right in there. If I poke through the bushes you can see more. Right in the back through there. And spreading out. Some of these will just be straight Erythronium revolutum. Some may be hybrids. You can generally spot the hybrids. They tend to be bigger and more vigorous. Up there's the other colour we get in Erythronium is yellow. And this one is actually just starting to go over with the heat. And that's Erythronium grandiflorum. We had some more grandiflorums earlier that come out much earlier in the year, but this is grandiflorum with the brown anthers. More Trilliums, they seed around as well. So that's one that's seeded in the path and it's starting to spread its seed, and here's another seedling at the other side of the path. And there's more Trillium grandiflorum and more Chloropetallum types. And beyond that, right in the dark, the Cardamine heterophylla, is it they're calling it now? Lovely early plant that really doesn't mind being in dry shade. Come here, they've closed a wee bit. They were fully open in the full sunshine, but the full sunshine's not the best to be filming in. Erythronium americanum. And this is the proliferating form that's supposed to be not free flowering. Well, it's flowering pretty well up there. And just down here in front of it, I love these little Erythroniums. Staying quite compact. And mostly single flowered. And they're the darker, mostly the darker ones. And they came from seed I got from around Lake Cowichan in Vancouver Island. I think, not sure if that's exactly how you pronounce it, but that's how it's spelt if you look at it. Carpets of Erythronium leaves at my feet. You wouldn't think you could get any more in there, but below the bigger leaves I can see even smaller, younger seedlings. Again, up here we have the white is all Minnehaha, and the pale pink is some Creighton cover girl. And you can see how we use the carpets. We use the anemones and other plants to give us ground cover. Trillium rivale and another erectum type. Kurabayashi type rather. That's possibly Kurabayashi, the Trillium. Rhododendron dendrocaris. And it's a lovely little, I love the way gardens, almost by accident rather than design, pick up colour combinations. So you've got the Rhododendron dendrocaris, then you've got the Erythroniums, which almost match it in colour. Down here you've got a Phyllodes caerulea just coming out. Down here again, just coming out, is a bigger version of the excuse me, Phyllodes caerulea. And then here's a little pink rhododendron that's not flowering too well today. Down here, this is a seedling rhododendron that's self-seeded into the wall. So I don't know what it is. I suspect it's something that's got Campylagynum in it. It's just lovely to have these. And there we have the wee Trillium rivale, Pseudo-Trillium rivale, Erythronium revolutum growing together in a crevice on the face of the wall. And up there you've got the Jeffersonia dubia and the American Jeffersonia with the two-part leaves, bifolia, is it bifila? Can't remember exactly. I really must commit it to memory. Nice dandelion in there. I don't get too precious about dandelions, as many of you will know, but what I will do is make sure it doesn't self-seed. I'll pluck the leaves off it, the flowers off it when they've faded, before they get a chance to seed. But across there you see plenty more of the Erythronium americanum. There's a Trillium Jeffersonii. Growing with the golden grass. Just ever more Erythroniums. You would think I like Erythroniums. This is the Creighton cream, another of our named hybrids. It's a cross, Helene cross, open pollinated, so I don't know who the pollen parent was. And some more of the wee roddies. This is a lepidotum of some kind. Really prolific in its flowers. There's some Trillium ovatum. With a few bits of ovatum. It seems to like to grow right under a bush or a tree or something. Anemone, Nemorosa, not Nemorosa, the Blanda, just the straight Blanda. If I come up here, we can, up to the high end, we can see better on the Jeffersonia dubia, and down here the Erythronium americanums. Are they not just so beautiful? Lovely mottled leaves, and these lovely wee flowers. This is actually the selection of Americanum that we raised from seed. I named it Craigton Flower because it's more willing to flower than the others. But as you can see, when the others settle down and find a happy home, they will start flowering freely as well. And so here we have lovely companions with Erythronium americanum, and here's an Erythronium Sibiricum. There's more Sibiricum in there. And from up here we can look down over the bed we've just walked round. Down past the Dendrocaris. These forms and selections of Anemone Nemorosa are real good to have scrambling about in a garden. I really enjoy them. But it's really good. You can walk, or from up here I can just go and zoom down and zoom through the area, light and shade. See all the colour of the Erythroniums. Across the shady bed where a lot of them haven't yet opened yet. That's a Hendersoni cross, Erythronium Hendersoni, Ardovi Bliss. Not one of my hybrids, but I was given it, and it's absolutely beautiful. Gradually increasing in there, which is nice. I see more Erythronium Caucasicum, not Caucasicum, Sibiricum popping up in there. There's a well-chewed Krylovi down here. White flower. And we've some more Trillium Hibbersoni here. But with the Erythroniums, if you want to know more about them and how we raise them from seed and how we've got so many, I wrote a book, 278 pages, fully illustrated, with details of the seed, the bulb, the leaves, the flower, how to grow them, what species you can grow. Everything's there. It's online. You can download it for free as a PDF. And you'll find it on srgc.net. So that's the website of the Scottish Rock Garden Club. And if you go to the home page and down towards the bottom, you'll see Ian Young's Erythronium book. Just click on that to download it. and then you can download it and save it onto your tablet or whatever device you want and read it at your leisure. Also from that same website, if you want to follow my weekly bulb blog, which I've written online for 20 years, 23 years actually. Here up here we've got some of the other yellows. Trilliums, the darker yellow. The paler yellow is sun disk, I think it's called. And coming up here we have just a mass of foliage, but such a range of texture and foliage, with some of the flowers climbing up and flowering through it. Here we have more Trillium grandiflorums and albidums. Grandiflorum roseum. This is a veratrum. Oh, this is a pale, interesting looking one. This is it. You walk round and you see slightly different things. Here we have some Erythronium. Susannae, the yellow. Another of John Walker's hybrids. And that's Fritillaria camschatensis in leaf and bud. It's to come out. I can see more of it in there as well. But more Trilliums, and even in the path here there's Erythroniums and Trilliums in the path. More Trilliums. So we've got pale ones, dark ones, and there's all sorts of hybrids around here as well between those two that are not out yet. And then up to the Erythronium plunge beds, where these are all captive in boxes. And I was showing you in here previously, this is where the Corydalis malcensis was in a mass. Before that it was Iris Kathleen Hodgkins. Now it's the plants that it truly was built for, which are the Erythroniums. And there's a mixture of species and hybrids in here. Hybrids that I'm trialling. Here's a group that I'm trialling to assess and see what they are, if they're worth naming or not. But it just is. There's the yellow Trilliuminense, and further over there's the darker yellows Trilliuminense, and then there's Susannae and Irene, both John Walker hybrids. This is creating Cover Girl, that pale pink. And the other thing, growing them from seed, there's plenty still to come, there's plenty still in bud. And with this weather there's going to be quite a separation. Normally there'd be an overlap where the battens passed from one to the other. But I suspect with this very hot weather, a lot of these early ones, as you can see, are already going over. And there's plenty that haven't yet come out, so we will have a succession of flowers. Good old white beauty. More primroses up here. And those hybrids I showed you from the other side. and over there to that bed. So it's a wonderful time. But I thought I'd better come out late this afternoon to capture them before they go over and I miss them altogether. So thanks for being with me, and I'll be back again when there's something moved on or something else to show you. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's the next wave of Erythroniums in plants. But there'll always be something to show, so I'll be back in whenever. I won't say it'll be this in 2 weeks or a month, but I will be back when there's something to share with you. So thanks again if you stayed with me. Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. And don't forget, as I say, if you want to see the book or read my online contribution or a whole lot of other useful information for plants, is on srgc.net. So that's the Scottish Rock Garden Club website. So simply srgc.net. So leave it there. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Bye.